So, recently I had an interesting experience. I met a locksmith who was standing next to me in a concert, and he talked to me about his payment. And he said that when he was an apprentice, he did few things differently. He took a really long time to open a lock because he had no idea what he was doing. He often broke the lock for people and he had to charge them for a replacement lock. And when he charged people, they didn't complain, plus they gave him a tip. That all sounds very good. But he told me that today, when he's really good at it, he makes it really fast, it takes him less than a minute, he doesn't break anybody's lock, nobody's giving him a tip, and on top of that, everybody's complaining about his charges. What's going on here? He's not charging more, but the issue here is people's perception of value. And it turns out that our perception of value is often not about what we're getting, it's about how much effort the other person is putting in. And this interesting locksmith was actually get paid for incompetence. In fact, when he was not as good, he was getting paid more and getting a tip of it. As he was getting better, he was getting charged less. We actually have evidence from this from an experiment. So we asked people how much they would pay if they lost data on their computer, the hard drive crashed, and they had to recover it in a shop. How much would they pay if they lost 1 day of data? 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year worth of data? You would expect that the more data that they lost, the more they would be willing to pay. But on top of that, we changed how much time we told the technician took to work on it. A minute, an hour, 24 hours, 3 days. It turns out people's sensitivity to how much data they lost was not that high. You lost more data, you were not necessarily willing to pay that much more. But people were very sensitive to fairness, to how long did it take the other person to correct it. And it turns out it's very general. Now, all of us are paying nothing for the internet. We think the internet is free. And ask yourself the question of how much would you be willing to pay if you thought that the internet was run by little people who are running between computers and setting and creating web pages and moving emails around. Wouldn't you, under those conditions, be willing to pay much more? I suspect yes. I'm not really proposing it as an internet model. But I think it's interesting to wonder how much of our willingness to pay is driven by utility, by the pleasure we're getting from something, and how much is driven by a sense of fairness, how much effort was put into something. And if it's an effort that we don't recognize, for example, this locksmith who got better, maybe there's some things we're underpaid for, at least we don't feel comfortable paying for. Well, I hope you all get specialized, you become experts, and nobody doubts the fact that you deserve lots of money for your expertise.